And I yield back.
And the chair recognizes herself. We have many roles here in Congress, and one that stands out the most important is providing constituent services and helping them weed through the never-ending bureaucratic tape. But at the top of that list is the IRS. Nobody likes paying taxes, which is, really made more painful when the IRS does not do its job, and that's what we're here looking at today. Congress enacted the ERTC at the beginning of the pandemic to provide rapid tax relief to eligible employers who kept employees on the payroll despite being harmed by the pandemic. The outdated IRS process that employers must use to claim the ERTC has not worked well, and has contributed to the backlog of an unprecedented unprocessed returns that resulted in many employers waiting 2 or more years, as we've heard today, for their claims to be processed. And despite the fact that the IRS is making it difficult for legitimate claimants to receive their tax funds and tax returns, the IRS is doing a very poor job of preventing fraud. And as of April 20th, IRS criminal investigations initiated 122 investigations involving over $1.2 billion of potentially fraudulent ERTC claims for tax years 2020 to 2022. Mr. McCleary, you've got your Heather. I've got my Deb. Oh, is she going to play? Oh, come on.
When you get this message, can you please call me back at 218-318-5208. This is about an additional tax refund for your business for the year 2020 and 2021. You're actually scheduled to receive about $26,000 for every W-2 employee you have.
Who wouldn't call back on
This
this?
is not a loan. Doesn't need to get paid back.
Her name is Deb. I didn't have a Heather. I have a Deb. But it is amazing to me how many of these calls I've gotten. By the way, I called back. You answered your phone. I called back today. Or I've called back, and they still keep me on the list. And I tell them who I am. And yes, while I may have employees, I guarantee you I'm not eligible. And they still keep me on that list. So, we have learned that these ERTC mills have been approaching businesses and telling them that they qualify for the ERTC, even though some of these businesses were already told by their tax preparers that they don't qualify for the credit. So how prevalent do you find this issue if I'm getting calls and you're getting calls just this morning? And do you think it's led to an increase in improper ERTC claims?
100%. And to your question, like who on earth would call these people back? The answer is simple: desperate businesses, right? And so on our website, where ERTC delays hurt small biz, there are just scores and scores and scores of first-person accounts of people who closed their business, moved their manufacturing operation, shut it down, refinanced their homes, gave up their pensions, everything for this. They're desperate, right? And that's why I said the easiest way to clear out or get rid of the mills is clear out the backlog. The people are desperate for the money. They need it to stay alive. And so if I'm going to wait, and I don't know how long, because there's no way to find out where my claim is, then I'm going to call Heather back and say, what can you get me? And that's real. That's what's happening out there.
So some of these ERTC mills offer refund anticipation loans in which they loan employers a certain percentage of their expected ERTC refund, and in the meantime, charge them interest-only payments. Would such a refund anticipation loan from an ERTC mill increase the level of risk that an employer is exposed to?
Well, sure, there's that, and then the other problem we keep saying, and again, we've been shoulder to shoulder with the IRS in warning our members and make sure they warn their clients, like, don't get in bed with these people, because the other issue, I think Roger alluded to it, is where are these folks going to be in a year? Right? So when you get audited, where are they going to be? They're gone. Right?
They got their money.
Absolutely, it's a cardboard stand in the airport. They folded the tent and they went.
I have a quick question. You had answered Ms. Tenney's questions a little bit about some of the struggles that they're going through to file their taxes, but just as a follow-up, when Commissioner Werfel was here before this committee, he claimed that the IRS would process oldest claims first. Yeah. Has the PEO industry and their clients seen the oldest claims processed first?
No. We have 4,000 claims from 2020 that we know about. There are probably more than that. That's just a sampling of our members. Less than half of our members that had 4,000 claims from 2020. So, no.
What are they telling you? What are they telling you? What's the IRS telling you when you call?
Not a lot.
All right. Well, thank you very much. My time has
Thank you.
expired. Who am I recognizing next? Oh, Mr. Schneider is